What is a press box hat trick?
It's okay, Jose. Enjoy the holidays. Go on, go skating at the ice rink. Hey guys, you think they'll sign Gus Hitting?
Patrick podcast twice already?
Could you let him celebrate? Could you please let him celebrate? John Scott.
I thought he was a bro. He is a bro. His name is The Plug. It's Alex Perez.
You know what? I'm bad with names.
I'm a host, goddammit.
I actually had one of those this year in Minnesota, and I tweeted about it. All the works.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 58 of the Press Box Hat Trick podcast. My name, of course, is Tristan, the online sports editor at the Link newspaper. And alongside me today is Alex Perez, the sports editor at the Link newspaper. What's up, Alex?
Nothing much. It was a pretty exciting day today, and, can't wait to get this podcast started.
We're definitely going to talk more about it. Also alongside us today is student journalist extraordinaire and the creator of the Scratch blog on thelinknewspaper.ca. There's a pretty good post, actually. You should check it out. You're probably going to talk more about this. Julian McKenzie, what's up, Julian?
Hey, man, just cooling. Scratch mixtape The Link Up coming really soon. Sooner than you think.
Ooh.
May 31st.
Oh, okay. Dropping some stuff on us right now, man. Dropping some news.
Follow us on SoundCloud, which you should already be doing anyway.
So today we are, you should follow us on SoundCloud. You should also follow the Press Box Hat Trick. Now that you're giving me the opportunity to plug,
You might as well.
you should follow us at the Press Box Hat Trick on iTunes. And if you're an Android user, thank God for that. We got Google Play Music. So click on the little orange triangle. You're posted for Android. And obviously SoundCloud and thelinknewspaper.ca. Now today, we wanted to make a little special because we were at the East-West Bowl at Percival Molson Stadium at McGill University in Montreal, in Canada, in North America. I was going down that trend.
Any farther, man, we're going to be way out.
We're going to be way out.
On the planet Earth, this took place.
In this part of the galaxy.
So for those people who don't know what the East-West Bowl is, obviously it is a showcase. It's actually the first real showcase for football players in the CIS that are eligible for next year's draft. Obviously, the CFL draft happened last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday. And now all the new brew, the class of 2017, are going to play their last season in CIS, and it starts with the East-West Bowl.
In fact, before we get in on the East-West Bowl, we should make a quick shout-out to the three players for the Concordia Stingers who were drafted in the CFL draft last week. Michael Charland, Roman Grossman, and Ardo Kachikian. Hopefully I got his name right. If I got it wrong, I am so sorry.
So Michael Charland goes to the Red Blacks. He's drafted in the second round. Roman Grossman goes to the fourth round, right?
Yes.
In the fourth round.
Fourth round.
Sorry, I kind of overlooked it a little.
Seventh round for Ardo as well.
Grossman goes to Calgary.
Yes.
And Arto goes to Ottawa as well. You mind sharing the quick little story?
Yeah, no. Ardo was with Michael Charland in Gatineau as Michael was having a draft party. Ardo was really just there in support of Michael. Obviously Michael gets drafted in the second round. Roman Grossman, a guy who one mock draft had him as a first round pick before he eventually fell to the fourth round. And in the seventh round, Ardo was contacted by the Red Blacks and was drafted. Apparently the Red Blacks had only contacted him initially the day before the draft. So he kind of had an idea they were interested in him, but he didn't really take that too seriously. All of a sudden, he's a member of the Red Blacks, and he'll be joining his roommate, in addition to being a teammate, Michael, for training camp later on this month.
That's a pretty cool story.
Pretty cool story.
Something to add. Ottawa getting that pick via a trade with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So they obviously saw something great in him. So they traded to get that pick. And Arto is now a Red Black.
Also, I should point out, those three players were in last year's edition of the East-West Bowl.
Exactly.
Yep.
So it's a great...
we use the word showcase.
It's a great way to showcase yourself.
Well, I think the way they advertise it's like a CIS prospect game. I think that would be like the more appropriate term for it, definitely. But yeah, showcase, prospect game, whatever it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, showcase still works, right? I mean, you have all the different scouts from the CFL.
Yeah,
I was talking with
there was some scouts. I'm pretty sure there was some coaches there as well, players as well too.
I was talking with Mo Khan. You can hear him usually on TSN 690, and he's usually around the CIS sporting landscape. He was telling me there was a bunch of scouts from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. They've got a new head coach there in Chris Jones. They're really trying to get on the ball.
Which we walked past on our way back from the press box.
Yeah.
We saw all of those Rough Rider scouts.
Yeah, seriously.
So maybe.
It was kind of crazy. Like I remember I stepped out of the after I talked to Mo about that, I stepped out of the press box to go to the bathroom. I come back and I just see like one popping out, and I see one in the distance. Like they're kind of like whack-a-moles, like they just kind of like pop out of nowhere. Like, oh, there's one scout. There's another one. There's another one.
So where's Waldo? Where's the Rough Rider scout?
Where's the Rough Rider
They just
scout?
pop out. Yeah, no, but this year's edition, the 2016, this is the second time I'd ever caught the East-West ball. I was at last year's game. This year was pretty fun, too.
So, before we get into a little discussion about what happened in the East-West Bowl, I just want to tell you who we have on this podcast. We got soundbites for you guys. We have the West, obviously the game, let me just say, the game finished 29-14 for the West. So we have on the podcast for you guys the offensive player of the game who finished the game with 2 touchdowns, Tylor Henry of the University of Alberta Golden Bears. We also have probably one of the stars of the game, mainly for the kind of role he played during the game. We're going to talk about that a little later. Felix Menard-Briere of the Montreal Carabins, who was forced to play for both teams.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen
that.
We also have the offensive player of the game for the East team, Sean Thomas-Erlington. And we have the Lone Stingers representative, Sam Narkaj, the defensive tackle from the Concordia Stingers. Now, guys, 29-14, it's the first time in 3 years that the West wins the East-West Bowl.
Third time since 2009 they've won.
And big problems for the West. If you look at the big picture, they had a bunch of players out due to injury. They had to bring a bunch of Eastern players, a lot of McGill players, and the player that actually won Offensive Player of the game. I always tend to say of the year, but it's of the game. It's weird. Tylor Henry wasn't even sure to play and got 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's true. That's come to think of it. I mean, the Western team was already dealing with a bunch of injuries, and we were talking to Tylor after the game, and you'll hear more about it in the little soundbite we'll play for you. But this guy was battling a knee injury all week, and he did not practice. So it was a total possibility he probably wouldn't be able to play. But the fact he was able to make such an impact, 2 touchdowns, 6 catches for about 123 yards, that's a pretty significant achievement.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's really incredible.
Another player that, though they lost, did impress to me, honestly, with lots of big carries. His longest was 23 yards, actually. Sean Thomas-Erlington didn't get 100 rushing yards, got a 93, I think.
Yeah, 93.
93.
93 yards.
Because on our sheets, it is 94, but it's 93.
Stat correction.
Leaves with a touchdown. To me, his stakes are still high as the running back of the Montreal Carabins, who are probably going to do well this year, next year as well. And it's a good way for him to showcase himself at the start, to just say, hey, I'm there. I'm going to be available for the CFL draft next year.
I'm not a mathematician at all, but I'm pretty sure 93 yards on 9 carries, that's a pretty decent average, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a good average, yeah, for sure.
Matt, you used to at one point during the press box, you said you used to be good at math.
Yeah, at least 10 yards each, and not anymore, man. Used to, past tense.
But especially in a showcase like this, where there's guys on the depth chart behind you who are obviously going to want to get their shine as well.
Yeah.
You have to make every carry count.
I think more importantly, the game aside, it's definitely important. Like when I got a chance to interview Sean Erlington and
Sam Narkaj.
Sam Narkaj. I was so close to getting his name wrong again.
For once, let me just point it out. For once, I'm actually good at names, and you are not good at names.
You say you're good at the hard ones, though.
I'm good at the hard
horrible
ones.
at them.
Not good at the easy ones.
But yeah,
don't know why.
definitely, I got a chance to interview Erlington and Narkaj, and what stood out to for me the most during the interviews was that the game aside, that they got a chance to, obviously they got to enjoy such a memorable week, interact with players that they're always up against, but more importantly was, interacting as well with coaches and staff and scouts and getting tips and whatnot that they'll be able to bring to the CIS next season. So that was something that stood out for me that they were mostly excited about. Obviously, the game is something that they're proud to be in, but most of all is that they did have fun playing as well, and it's just more important. Also, there's the combine, there's everything during the week, and the game aside, it's everything. There's so much more that's more important, right?
Yep. All right, let's cut to the chase and get you guys to listen to our soundbites for today from the East-West Bowl at Percival Molson Stadium. So, once again, Tylor Henry of the U of Alberta Golden Bears, Felix Menard-Briere and Sean Thomas-Erlington from the Carabins, and Sam Narkaj of Concordia University.
Really quickly, how do you think you felt you did for that?
Oh man, it's I didn't practice all week. I had a knee injury coming into camp here, and it didn't look like I was going to get a chance to play. And the fact that I even did, it's just a testament to God, man. Absolute miracle. The fact that I could come out here and do what I did, just evidence, man. God is so good. So I'm just thankful.
So from thinking of not competing to getting offensive player of the game, it's a pretty interesting feat, right?
It is, and like I said, man, just an absolute testament, just to show, man, there's nothing that he can't do, man. I'm just walking proof. That's all.
There were a lot of guys on your team that were apparently banged up. You guys had to use a bunch of McGill and Montreal players. How was that playing with guys who could have been on the east side?
Oh man, it was intense. We had guys folding down pretty quick, and we had a lot of our receivers. They were working so hard during the week, just trying to get the reps in, because we had so thin guys that we had basically no subs, and guys were just putting in work. So our rec corps worked so hard this week. I'm just super thankful that they were able to hold together and put it together for us. So
how was actually playing on the field on the team coached by the reigning Vanier Cup winning coach?
It was cool. It was cool. He's a fiery dude, man. He's passionate and he's really serious about it. I think it'd be easy for an all-star coach and team to come in and just, be all about them. But he's a guy who he really came here to win the game, and he made no secret of that to us. And that's the kind of mentality we took into this game, and it showed. So.
I got myself, man. Hey, thanks so much, man.
No problem. Appreciate
Congrats
it.
again on the game.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
So Felix, quite an unusual day for you, right? How you basically kicked for both teams due to an injury. How late did you know that you were going to kick for both teams?
Well, the other kicker, got injured at the beginning of the week, so I was kind of aware this could happen, but it didn't change the preparation at all. And I was happy. This morning they told me I was going to kick for both teams, and just more chances to showcase myself.
Exactly. It's kind of not like it's bittersweet, but at the same time it's more spotlight for you, right?
Yeah. I was sure I was gonna win either way.
So how do you count your points?
No, I didn't count my points. I didn't. After the kick, I just forget it, and if I have to kick for the other team, I was gonna do my best too. But I tried to say.
Basically, you kicked, and then a few minutes afterwards, you made a tackle on your own team. Yeah. How did that feel?
Well, we had a good laugh about it, and it was just. Sorry, I'm gonna.
Go ahead. You can say it in French. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. But no, I'm gonna try saying it in English.
Okay.
During the week, the guys we say to each other that might happen, and what if is gonna happen? What am I gonna do? And I told the guys nobody's gonna outrun me. So even if the guy was big, it was 1-on-1, him or me. So I made the tackle.
So you play for the Carabins, obviously. You got to play under Blake Neal and Machocha. How did that feel?
Oh, it felt good. It was a great experience to be coached by Blake Neal, a great coach, and the special team coordinator too for UBC. It was nice. It was. I got to see the other side of the ball, and it was a great experience.
Was there a lot of differences between both coaches?
Yes and no. It was the same schemes, but they they prepared differently for the game, but they're both great guys and great coaches, and I'm happy.
Thank you, Felix. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Part of the CIS prospect game. How does it feel, man?
Pretty good. I came here with no expectations. I just wanted to take in all the experience I could, and it was a great match. Well, a great game for you.
How was the first half? You had a huge presence. Second half, the West kind of took over. Just take me through that. How was that?
It was kind of hard because me getting a touchdown in the first half, they wanted to make the other guys play a bit more, and I understand that. But watching the scoreboard going up for them, I felt like going back in, but I had to share.
Overall, how was the experience?
Amazing. I met some CFL coaches, gave me some great tips, and I'll bring that to the next season.
Being that you're going to be draft eligible next year, how does that make you feel?
Excited, but I know there's a season ahead of me, so try not to think too much about it.
Perfect. You won Offensive Player of the Game. How's that?
It was cool, man. Everybody was blocking amazingly. Like, I mean, having all the greatest guys in the East blocking for me was great.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sean.
No problem.
So, Sam, being the only Concordia Stinger here, how does that feel?
Oh, it was fun, but I would have rather had a couple other players to enjoy this opportunity. I had so much fun. It was a great week. McGill ran it really well, and all the coaches and the knowledge. It was just a great week for everything, honestly.
Now, you're eligible for draft next year. How does that make you feel?
I'm excited. I don't really think about it too much. Now it's time to get ready, off-season, train, and get back to Connu in August, and, try to have a year where we can win a championship.
What are your goals for Concordia Stingers?
Vanier. Anything less is disappointment,
Overall, the game, I mean, it seems that the West kind of took over in the second half, but the first half was great by both teams. How was that like?
Oh, it was fun. It was good. It's an all-star game. They were throwing the ball really quick, so it was tough for us to get to the queue. And they had some great athletes at the wide receiver position, and they just got us, man. They just got us. But it happens, and it was just fun. It wasn't so much about the win-loss. It was more about just having a good time this whole week and just taking the knowledge in from all the pro players and all the coaches around the league. So, as long as you had a good experience, I think everyone's happy.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
All right, we are back on episode 58 of the Press Box Hat Trick podcast. Did anyone find names for players that let's just make it quick. Athletes with number 58.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. Athletes with the number 58. Yeah, usually we do that at the beginning.
But I mainly just found it right now. I just thought about it right now.
Okay. Let's see if we can actually find a really quick one here.
Jack Lambert.
That was the first thing that
from
did
the
come
Steel
up.
Curtain.
Chad Billingsley, pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hector Carrasco, who's pitched another baseball pitcher.
Sven Andrighetto from the Montreal Canadiens.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he still 58?
Well, probably not because it says 2015.
Yeah.
Chris Letang.
Yes. Jonathan Papelbon.
I feel like that's good enough.
Yeah.
Solid handful of players that we got.
So
there.
that was the 58 portion. Now, guys, I really want to talk about.
You should pick the football player who was number 58.
So Lambert, I guess, from the Pittsburgh Steel Curtain.
Von Miller. I think
Von Miller.
Okay. Wait. Let me double check. I don't think. Actually, you know what? I don't know if Von Miller actually wears 58. It was weird. His name did pop up when I wrote 58, which is weird. If I get that wrong, no. I'm right. He wears 58. I'm good. Perfect. Von Miller is my pick for number 58. Super Bowl MVP Von Miller.
Ooh. Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
So I want to talk about Felix Menard-Briere because it hasn't been that long that I've been covering sports, but I've been watching sports for a fair bit, and I have never seen an occasion where a player would play for both teams.
Never seen that. Nope.
I have never seen that. And as you might have heard from the soundbite, that player knew a week in advance that he was going to play for both teams. And one of my favorite soundbites that we've got from those soundbites, one of the best quote that we got today for you guys was, we discuss, well, quote unquote, we discussed this before, and they asked me what I would do in that situation, quote unquote, the situation that he would have to tackle another player, and he said, "No one will outrun me." That's so good.
Yep. I thought that was really hilarious to take in as well. But yeah, that's I don't know. I've never seen that in any. Nope. I mean, I know it's not like a real game where it happened. It's pretty much like an all-star game per se. So it's not as big of a deal as opposed to like a real game where you have to get like one guy playing for two teams. And I was talking with one of the reporters on the sideline. Thank God it didn't come to a point where you need a game-winning field goal. Like how conflicting would that have been? But no, that's still one of the more unique things I've ever seen.
But again, I mean, he's kicking for I think the East, right? He's kicking for the East at a point where it's still quite. It was still quite, like a tight game. That's what I was looking for. And I don't remember who returned the punt, but if Menard-Briere, sorry, Menard-Briere is a FC Montreal player. I always kind of mix them up, hyphenated names. If he doesn't make that tackle, that player is out for a touchdown.
Yeah, that was going to be a score. That's probably one of my favorite moments of the whole game. I was like, definitely. Oh wow, like this is a guy.
And just like moments before, he just scored them a field goal as well, and that was definitely the most entertaining part of the game. Yeah, like you said,
it was cool. But you're absolutely right. If the returner, I believe his name was Tunde Adeleke, from the University of Carleton, if he bypassed that, I thought that what was going to happen was like, all right, all he needs to do is get past this kicker, and we have ourselves a game here. He's going to make that return, but he stopped him. It was going to be a massive run. But no, it was definitely one of the more fun moments of that game for sure. It's always cool when you see a kicker. All their job is just to kick the ball.
Hey,
right?
he got to see a lot of action.
That
today,
is,
man.
yeah,
Both
man.
teams. Look at that.
You gotta say, if you are a scout, maybe particularly from Saskatchewan, maybe you definitely give them a look.
Hey, why not? Why not, eh?
Definitely.
Why not, eh? One thing you mentioned that this was an all-star game. Now, East-West Bowl, probably my favorite all-star game.
Whatever.
Actually, look, I mean, we made in a past episode a power rankings of the best all-star games. And I think what was number one was the baseball one because it was actually meaningful. I think the East-West Bowl is kind of the same thing because it's meaningful to the players that are playing in it. And you look at guys.
Different. I think it's different.
You look at Sam Narkaj, who actually got a sack in there. They were playing. We've seen in 2 occasions today, because we are recording this on the same day of the East-West Bowl, where there was brawls. There were brawls.
Yeah, there were.
People were. It was heated down in the trenches.
That's what testosterone's going to do. Obviously, in football, is enough.
But
of a
you're
tough
probably
sport,
not
going
to
to
see
happen.
that in the Pro Bowl.
I don't know if we're going to. Oh yeah, fine. But like, I don't know if we're going to. I don't know if we're gonna. We need to go this far to say it's like the best we've ever seen in terms of an all-star game.
Let me say this.
It's a good rookie showcase.
Let me say this.
Like,
I prefer a showcase than an all-star game. Because the all-star game, you know what the players are going to do, and they're not going to be at their best. If the players are on a showcase, they want to be at their best. And so they show you the best of their abilities.
Then I don't know. I don't think in that case, if we're going to use the word showcase then and not all-star game, then I should probably take that back and say, you know what, maybe we should.
Because some players have considered this as an all-star game. Sam Narkaj said it was an all-star game. Tylor Henry, I believe, said that it was an all-star game. You talked about Blake Nill, and he said it was nice that he was fired up, even though it was an all-star game.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I get it, yeah. But the good thing about it is that this is something that does matter to the scouts that are going to watch this. It's not just one of the, unlike other like all-star games. Scouts are actually going to look at this and be like, oh, hey, this prospect was impressive. This guy was impressive. This is a guy we could look at down the line when we're looking to scout for the CFL draft this time next year. Whether to call an all-star game seriously, it's not on the level of like a professional league where like, MLB makes it, MLB or an NBA, or even if the CFL said, you know what, we're going to do like a Pro Bowl version, which they probably shouldn't.
They probably shouldn't, no. I feel like the was it All-Canadian team or whatever?
Yeah, just naming an All-Canadian team is sufficient. By the way, the Pro Bowl is probably like the worst.
Probably, yeah.
Probably the worst.
Actually, no, I think I think we said that the NBA All-Star Game was the best.
That's well, because my pick is the NBA All-Star Game.
It's mine as well.
It's my pick of the All-Star Game because I still think like in the actual game itself. I mean, there's some instances where you know what, like they're not going to try as hard. There's not as much defense, but even at that, like people are still going to do some really crazy stuff in that game. That being said, in the MLB, the game matters. Plus, like the All-Star Fest. Actually, you know what? What we might have said is that the MLB probably has like the best game, but the NBA probably has the best festivities.
That's. Yeah.
Because, I mean, yes, MLB has the Home Run Derby, which is still, like, one of the best, like, festivities you could do. But, I mean, Slam Dunk competition, which at one point everyone thought was dead, but last year's competition was amazing with Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon. And you have the three-point contest, which is obviously amazing because of Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Even the Breakaway Challenge and the... What's that cool one where you get, like, a current NBA player, a female WNBA player, and a legend? I forget what that challenge is called. But the NBA
that sounds really good.
That's really cool. They do all these drills, and then like each of them have to like complete a half court shot. That's one of the first ones they show. That being said, the NBA one always has best festivities. But yeah, I think that's that. But to consider the East West Bowl, like up in that level. Well, obviously not in that level, but to consider as a real All-Star game. I definitely wouldn't put it up there to the point where it's like, it's like the best like All-Star game. Like I wouldn't do that.
But I'll say this: getting into this game, I didn't expect the level. I don't know why. I guess since a showcase is a showcase, I mean it's trying to show the best of what the players could do. I feel like it exceeded what I was expecting. What
Fair
was
enough.
I expecting?
I would definitely agree with you on that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, myself personally, I thought this was like after the game, this was definitely one of the most exciting things that I've ever done. Just the fact that we got the chance to get on the field, and interact with these players like right after the game was definitely something special as well. But yeah, you mentioned that this is a showcase, but these players are so amped for the seasons to start, and like that's when the real showcase begins, right? And they're just so amped for the season to start, and it's only like training camp is only in August, right? 4 months away. So, but yeah, this was definitely something like you said, Tristan, exceeded expectations, and it was a fun day. It was definitely a good day.
And like I really liked going on the sidelines where you get to see you got Danny Machocha there, you got Glenn Constantin, who was running the defensive line. You have Blake Nill, a guy who won a couple Vanier Cups. Obviously, Machocha, the only one to win a CFL, a Grey Cup, and a Vanier Cup. I mean, that's something. It's something for these guys.
Carabin players were pretty much all over the place on both sides. There were some injuries that kind of,
Yeah, they kind of shuffled it up, right?
Yeah,
there was a couple
right?
Carabin players on the west, a couple of them on the east,
and then you have Felix Menard-Briere, who's ended up playing for both teams. But remember, we're looking at a program that it used to be Laval who was the king of all of this, right? Now all of a sudden, UDM, they find themselves with like 8. If my math is correct, and you can always correct me if I'm wrong, 8 players between both teams. Plus you have Danny Machocha as your head coach. Adam Ideluca for the offensive coordinator, and Fabrice Raymond, all 3 of those guys for the Eastern team. So your DM is pretty much all over this East-West Bowl game.
Exactly. Any closing statements, guys?
I just feel I have to plug something in. Big shout out also. Just we interviewed him. I got a chance to interview him, to Sean Thomas-Erlington.
Yeah, I didn't.
Funny. Funny totally thing. I just feel like I should plug this in. Actually, I mentioned this to Tristan a couple days ago. It's like, Sean Thomas-Erlington's going to be in the game, and you're like, oh yeah, he is. Like, yeah, I used to work with him. I used to be pretty good friends with him. So it was definitely
at a restaurant in which we won't name.
We definitely won't name
unless they want to sponsor us.
Well, we used to work at a fast food restaurant together for a couple, maybe a year or two around. I remember he had quit at one point and came back. But anyways, and just to see him playing in this game, and for me to get a chance also to get on the field is just, I don't know. That was definitely something special to me. On how far both of us have came to, but no, it was definitely something cool that I got a chance to interview him and old friends coming back together. So that was pretty something. Cool.
I guess in terms of final stuff for me, I just want to point out some guys that obviously they did some really great stuff throughout the game. Obviously we look at the 2 offensive players of the games for both sides. Sean Thomas-Erlington doing well for the east side. Tylor Henry, obviously, for the west side, doing well. We need to show a bit of love for the guys on defense. Defensive player of the game, that's him. From Bishops, doing well. Won that honor. 3 total tackles and a fumble recovery on the west side. Evan Foster for the University of Manitoba, 3 sole tackles, including 2 for a loss. Those were guys who actually won honors and were honored and decorated for what they did all game. But Johnny Augustine, 14 carries, 99 yards for the west side, did all right. Asher Hastings, I didn't talk about him all that much, actually. This is the quarterback who threw the 2 touchdown passes to Tylor Henry, 237 yards for 2 touchdowns. Really nice day for him. Danny Vandervoort made 6 catches for 73 yards. Made some nice plays. Jumped up for the ball at instances. There was one catch he made. I think it was like a 32-yard gain. Sidestepped around a bunch of defenders. That's a guy I want to look at as well.
Kwaku Boateng of Laurier got 2 sacks, 3.5 tackles for the West as well. Big guys to look up for in next year's CFL draft and next year's CIS season, which leads me to this. Now, CIS football is kind of your forte, has been for a while, Julian. And from what you've seen of the players, now we've talked a bit off air. There's some players that we've seen in this game stand out. Some players maybe not as much. What is from these individualities? What's the best team in the at least just RSCQ? What's the best team in the RSCQ right now? Is it Montreal? Is it Laval? Is Concordia in this mix?
Concordia is going to be a
we've seen one player. Is Concordia in this mix?
Concordia is good. I mean, even though they only had one lone representative at the East-West Bowl for next year, I mean, there's still going to be a bunch of guys who are going to be draft eligible, and you never know how the season goes, right? I mean, depending on how the season goes, I mean, you could see maybe 2 or 3 other guys pop up for Concordia. They can build off this year. In terms of, actually going into regular season play, you obviously have to look at UDM and Laval as your top teams in the RSCQ. Those are the top 2 teams there. Concordia is going to be an intriguing team, I think, because offensively, a lot of those pieces who were there last year, they're going to be back. And Trenton Miller is going to start the year at quarterback.
Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Trenton Miller isn't eligible for the East-West Bowl since he's not Canadian, isn't it?
I don't know what the exact ruling is there. I don't know if it's just because of the fact that, I don't know if it's because, he's not putting himself in the draft yet, or he's not a senior, or I'm not exactly sure what the case
that's
is.
Probably it as well.
That could be a reason. That being said, Trenton Miller, just looking ahead to the year, he gets a full year with this offense. I mean, this is a guy who won conference MVP and started all but 2 games last season. So I think Concordia, they have an offensively. I'm definitely going to be looking. I would definitely want to look at them there, and I think they have an opportunity to probably finish 3rd. If they finish 3rd in that conference, that's a perfect situation for them.
We've been saying this situation of a strong 3rd place for a while now. Is this the year? Is this happening?
I think it's got to be the year for them. They've had opportunities within the last 2 years under Mickey Donovan where they could have been that 3rd team, and because of some circumstances, actually, I got to double check that. I think was Concordia 3rd in 1 year. That being said, this is a team that is good enough to hold their own against a bunch of teams in the RSCQ. They need to knock off Sherbrooke. They need to knock off those wins off on McGill. McGill's not going to be a hunchover. I know off that last game they played where they just got into the playoffs after a 43-41 victory over McGill. McGill's not going to be a hunchover, so they got to beat those. They got to win. They have to win the games they're supposed to win.
Yeah. I remember...
It sounds like Captain Obvious here, but if you see some of those games with the Concordia Stingers where they either have a lead or, something's just not clicking, they need to get it in gear.
Yeah, I mean, I remember earlier this year when I was fresh on this podcast, it always came up regarding the football team that, they let a couple of games slip away from them.
They did.
And which could have, been the difference throughout their season. Their record could have... I think... What did their record end? 4-... what was it?
Man, God,
it was. Anyways,
you should have told me to get these records.
No, but definitely, it definitely could have been a record that could have been exceptionally better than what they finished with. I mean, they did let a couple games slip away from them, but yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys mentioned if this is the year that they can make 3rd place. I mean, I don't follow football that much, but judging by the overall sports program, I'm going to say, yeah, I think they could do it.
Here's what I'll tell you, though. Looking ahead to their schedule, I have that in front of me. They start with a game on the road against McGill. Their hardest 2 games are at the beginning of the year. So they have a home game at Concordia Stadium versus Laval, and then the next week they go to the Sepsum against UDM. And they only played those teams once. So you're looking at a situation where it's totally possible the Concordia Stingers could be 1-2. It could be possible maybe they steal a game versus Montreal. I'm not sure how that could go against Laval, but we're looking at a situation where they can be 1-2, but then you have St. FX after, then Bishops, then Sherbrooke, then McGill, then Bishops again. Realistically, this is a team that could probably win all 5 of those games.
So last year, Concordia, out of 8 games, played for .500 with 4 wins, 4 losses, 250 points for, 222 points against. So, it's this thing where, and one thing I wanted to add was Sherbrooke, the team that finished third and was the strong third, ended up being a strong third that we thought Concordia could be. Lots of players in this Varéal team are not returning. We're talking about, obviously, Jeremy Rock, who has a bunch of CIS records. He's not returning. He was a senior. He's not coming back. And how is that going to affect the team? Obviously, quarterback. Of course, CIS, RCQ quarterbacks don't really get into the CFL, but it's still a really important position. Mm-hmm. Concordia, they have their starting quarterback. He's there to stay, and he proved that he could be up there with the quarterbacks in the RCQ. Probably one of the best quarterbacks starting next year.
It's a guy who had a chance to win the Hank Crichton Trophy, which is one of the best honors you can win in all of CIS football. And up there with Andrew Buckley from Calgary, I believe, will won it again. But, the fact that they're set there, that's huge for them. And like I mentioned, with the offensive pieces there, up at receiver, up at running back, they're going to be fine there. And this is the year, if Sherbrooke's really not able to recover from losing all those pieces, including Jeremy Rock, this could be the year they could be that strong third, maybe even a second. I mean, that last 5 games, St. FX, Bishop, Sherbrooke, McGill, Bishop. If you go across campus right now, obviously they're going to tell you, "Oh, bro, we could probably win all the games." That's what they're supposed to say. But if you're a football player right now, in my opinion, I'm looking at the schedule. I'm saying there's no reason why we can't run the table on those 5 games. There's no reason.
And even though some of the defensive players are leaving for the CFL, going pro, Mickey Donovan loves his defense. He's probably gonna put some Scotch tape over it. Probably has the pieces to plug in, right?
That is the biggest worry, actually. Now that I think about it, I mean, you're not going to have Michael Charlon, you're not going to have Rashawn Perry. There are some guys on defense who are not going to be out. That being said, the year before they were in a similar situation where they lost a bunch of guys in their secondary. They had to fill those holes, but they've recruited guys. They've had them in their system before, and they're going to a plug and play type of situation.
Yeah.
So, like I said, there's still no reason why from September 24th on to October 29th. This is just me. I could very well be wrong, and you could all laugh in my face about it months in advance. There's no reason why the Concordia Stingers cannot beat St. FX, Bishops, win on the road at Sherbrooke, win at home against McGill, and then beat Bishops again. Come on. At the very least, maybe, come on. There's no reason. Laval, Montreal, I feel as if those are the only two games where they should really get trouble. McGill, actually, you know what? McGill will give them trouble. It's always, a crosstown rivalry. Those games are going to be tough. And if McGill gets a little stronger, then maybe they steal a game. But come on, there's no reason why they can't run that table.
I know I'm putting you on the spot there, but before we wrap it up, is there anything you want to talk about revolving the CFL draft? I know it was last week. Anything popped out?
I mean, the fact that 3 Concordia Stingers getting drafted, that popped out to me. I'm not a guy who has, a whole lexicon of Concordia Stingers draft history up the top of my head. But, I mean, the school has to be proud, obviously, so I can definitely speak from that perspective. In terms of the Montreal Alouettes, I know they drafted a few linemen. They drafted a few players. I think they looked as if they were doing okay as well. They drafted Wayne
Philippe
Moore.
Gagnon out of Laval, who's joining a bunch of Laval players he actually played with.
Which is actually really cool.
Which is really cool. Laval, Montreal Alouettes always love their Laval players. I mean, they've tried to hire Glenn Constantin a bunch of times. Rumored a bunch of times. I don't know if there was actual truth about it, but never actually happened. But yeah, they love their Laval players. Apart from that, I mean, it wasn't as surprising of a draft as maybe last year, where we had our first quarterback drafted in CFL history. I don't remember his name, but he got drafted by Montreal Alouettes.
Wow, that's a pretty big thing to kind of like. This seems like one of those like cool like trivia questions where you have to like give away a prize. Like who's the first ever like
get a free Press Box Hatchet T-shirt?
Yeah,
you don't have.
Yeah, which
so
you don't have. So
you get
just,
like a voucher. Or
you
something.
have to like come up with your own like imagination. So this is also where we use the Jeopardy theme music. For the
and it
first
was. But just to go back on Philippe Gagnon, it was something that was duly needed. Obviously, with the loss of Josh Burke, there was a big hole to fill, and of course, Luc Brodeur-Jourdain is going to miss the start of the 2016 season. Now, it leaves a gaping hole for the offensive line, and as we know, the quarterback position in the Alouettes right now still kind of shaky. And what shakes the quarterback position even more is a shaky O-line.
Yep.
Now, to have a guy that's from the Laval program, knows it. Of course, they didn't win the Vanier Cup. They didn't win the RSCQ in their last 2 years. But it's still a great program, Laval is. And I feel like it was a player that was duly needed for the Alouettes. Now, have I seen him as much as maybe someone that follows for Laval? Probably not. But I feel like it's a great pick, and it was something that they had to go for. Now, going down the lineup, a bunch of O-lines. Yeah, that's mainly what you want. 2 wide receivers, 1 running back. It's something that you want.
Absolutely, for sure. Also, we should point out, I didn't even know. Is that actually true? Like last year, had the first QB drafted ever. Like I know Brandon Bridge was picked.
Brandon Bridge. He was
He's the first guy. What about like Brad Sinopoli? He wasn't drafted as a quarterback. Or did they convert? Did they convert him to a receiver?
They converted him to a receiver.
Yeah, but it's totally possible that like was he converted after the fact?
That's a good question.
Really?
I was told Brandon Bridge was the first quarterback drafted.
What? Dang. No, I don't know why I'm saying dang. That being said, I don't know. I mean, but like, hey, I had a whole conversation with Johanna Gilbert-Norton, he will probably forever be answer to a trivia question in Concordia Stingers history. Who was the quarterback that started for the Stingers before Trenton Miller took over?
Yeah, Johanna
Gilbert-Norton. The plight of the CFL quarterback. You're right. I mean,
he was drafted, so technically.
So he was drafted as a quarterback. He was just converted. Because I mean, Brandon Bridge, he's not the first guy. Brandon Bridge was drafted as he's one of the few guys who's been drafted as a Canadian quarterback who is still a quarterback. Because there are
Brandon, that's for sure.
So for sure, but there's been enough guys who have been drafted, maybe as a quarterback, and they just never got opportunities to start or win enough games or were converted. But yes, Brad Sinopoli was one of the guys as a quarterback converted to receiver.
I stand corrected.
Hey,
I stand corrected. Brad Sinopoli, tip of the hat.
I don't know everything, but I think a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit. No, I'm not.
Is there anything you want to add before we leave?
Perez, this is like the first all football podcast we've ever done.
Yeah.
It probably won't be the last though as well.
Somewhat contributed to a football aspect and not the European football.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I guess come fall time, who's going to be your football liaison?
We'll see about that. We got a summer to think about that, right?
There's a few candidates. There's a few candidates I've
let's
seen.
Let's not talk about this on air, please. So yeah, I feel like it's time to end. Julian, as always, thanks a lot for joining us.
Yes, sir.
Alex, always a pleasure. We're probably going to record a third kit in the next coming days.
In the next week, a week or so.
Keep posted for that.
Yeah, definitely. And follow us on Twitter, please.
Follow us on Twitter. Julian is at Julian the Intern. Alex is at Das Alex Perez. I'm at Tristan Demo because I'm a complicated man. Thanks again for listening. If you like the show, please consider giving us a comment and a rating on iTunes. I don't know if there's that for Google Play yet, but I mean, if you could find it, we'd appreciate. All right. So, as always, my name is Tristan Demo. That was episode 58. This is rapidly aging. We're going in our 60s.
Getting old.
All right. We'll hear you on next time.